about Jason's status and the tests he had to take. What's the status right now?
Yeah, he's still has some symptoms. So, it doesn't look good for Saturday, just due to the way the protocol comes with concussions. You guys cover football, so you kind of know what that protocol is. Once he's 24 hours symptom-free, then they do one test. And he took that on Tuesday morning. And he scored, like I said, I think a 0 on it, which meant he was symptom-free and no issues. And then, unfortunately, Tuesday night he had a recurrence, if that's the correct medical term. I don't know what, and so he still had some symptoms this morning. So hopefully maybe tomorrow he'll be symptom-free. He'll take the first test. You got to wait 24 hours, do an exertion test, and then you have to be symptom-free 24 hours after that. So, again, you just when you have situations like this, you kind of put everything in the hands of the medical staff and the student athlete.
How is the limited number of scholarships players affecting your practices?
Well, it's a challenge. There's no doubt about it. But I think we were well prepared for the game the other night. I thought that some of our execution stuff was good, and some of our defensive stuff was pretty good. So, our guys have been good in practice. So, sometimes you have to cut things a little shorter or tone things down a little bit in terms of, just the reps. But, at this time of the year, you start shortening up practices anyways.
You got enough bodies for practice, but do you have enough bodies to deploy, play in a game, and get done what you want to do on the floor?
Well, foul trouble is a big issue with that, and I think we saw that on Tuesday night, where we're playing 2s and 3s at 4s and 5s. It was, as I said, it was strange because I thought we played with pretty good determination and grit and so forth. There was just some times where physically we were manhandled, and maybe no fault of effort, So, but that's the challenge we face. So we got to figure out a way to finish plays off. Because if you eliminate their second chance points, then that's a whole different game. All you got to do is eliminate 4 or 5 of those baskets. So that's the obstacles that we have right now, and we're just going to have to figure out a way to fight through them.
Does the manpower disadvantage explain by itself the rebounding disparity?
A little bit. That would be the only indicator. We didn't have foul trouble against Notre Dame, and we rebounded, fairly well in that game. We did not rebound as well in the Duke game, and obviously didn't rebound at all in the Pittsburgh game. So it has a little bit. There's the adage. If you block out, it doesn't matter how big you are. Well, if they can tip and tap the ball over you, then it does. But there was still some fundamental technique things that we need to improve on. And sometimes if you're a little guy and you're blocking out a big guy, your sole job is to make sure he doesn't get it. But that's where another area we need to improve in our rebounding. We need some other guys pursuing that ball then. So if Rod is blocking out their center, then Moose better come up with that loose ball, and Rod better make sure he doesn't get it.
You got to see Stacy in longer stretches than you're normally used to seeing him play. What did you see from him?
Well, he brought great energy, which is what he needs to do. He needs to tighten up some of his defensive coverages and his communication out there. But I thought he gave us a good lift in those minutes, and he's going to need to continue to do that. Sometimes playing time helps you tighten up some stuff, and hopefully, through his film study over the next couple of days, he'll be well prepared for Saturday afternoon.
Looking ahead to Saturday, what's the biggest difference between this year's Miami team and the one last year?
Now, 5 starters are gone, number one. And, obviously they had a guy that could completely dominate the game from the point guard spot in Shane Larkin. But, there have to be the only team in the country that lost 5 seniors from last year's team and now start 2 graduate students and another senior. You know what I mean? It must be something in the water there that everybody ages faster or something like that. I've just never seen that before because they're a veteran team when you look at them. And they lost 6 guys off of last year's team. I don't know how you do that, but he's done it. And they're athletic and they're big and they still, you know, they're hard to score on. They've gone to the matchup zone to start the ACC, and their defense has been tremendous. Now, I don't know what the final stats yesterday were with Florida State, but heading into that game, they were holding ACC opponents to 33% from the field, which is incredible. And they're big and they're active and so forth. So, you know, their defense has been, you know, their calling card in this resurgence. Now they're 1-3 in the league, but on a, you know, flip here or flip there, they're 3-1. So yesterday's game, matter of fact, you know, they lost by what it ended up 10, but 2 minutes ago in the game it was tied. You know, so they're playing extremely well right now.
You've played against a lot of zones this year. How is your team progressing playing against those zones?
Well, I thought, you know, Pittsburgh didn't play any zone against us. I thought they might. Notre Dame did, and I thought we executed well in that. I think our execution and understanding of what we want to do against the zone is better. A lot of times, you know, how successful you are against the zone comes down to one thing. Do you make some jump shots? You know what I mean? And when you play like Miami in their zone, you're gonna have to make some shots.
Of course, I guess you're looking for more consistency from your perimeter shooting than you've had so far.
No question about it. The percentages would clearly show that.
What's a good percentage do you want those guys to be shooting from 3?
From 3?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're shooting over 36, 37% from the 3, you're a high quality shooter.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, I always felt if you were a perimeter player and you were shooting 44 to 45 to 50% from the field and 36, 37, 38% from the 3, that, you know, you had to be guarded out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 33% from the 3 is 50% from the 2.
Right.
You know, I'm no math whiz, but I know that much. But you know, those are good percentages. You know, the old thing is, you know, 78, 46, 38. If you can do that from the perimeter, free throw line, field goal, and free throw, then you're a pretty good shooter.